When a woman withdraws or ignores you, it can be confusing and upsetting. What should you do? Encounter, and your initial reaction may be to attempt to make things better immediately. Even though you may feel angry, how you respond to this circumstance can have an impact on. In this video, we'll discuss not just your relationship, but also your personal development and sense of self-worth. Approximately 10 useful actions you can take when a lady withdraws will assist you remain composed in this situation. It's not only about attempting to win her back, it's also about handling situations in a manner that honors your own dignity and emotional fortitude. For those of you who like to incorporate Stoic principles into your everyday life, we'll be weaving some concepts into these actions, which will keep you robust and grounded. Before we begin, concentrate on what you can control and let go of what you cannot. Remember to like this video, and if you want to ensure that you don't miss any more, please subscribe to the channel and activate the alert bell, which greatly aids in sharing these observations with people who, if you're willing to gain, could use them right now. Comprehending, cultivating inner fortitude, and facing this obstacle with clarity. Let's start by remaining composed when a woman withdraws. Your initial response. Perhaps you should get worried about the knot in your gut and the flurry of nervous thoughts are so familiar that you begin to consider recent interactions and how they made you. Find yourself reflecting on your words and deeds, wondering if you made an error, or your intellect tells you to take action if she starts to lose interest. Immediately to make things right and return them to their previous state. But the reality is, you must accept that worrying or feeling afraid will only make things worse. Her wish to put distance between herself and others isn't beneficial because it demonstrates insecurity and often pushes her away in an effort to win her back. The wisest course of action is to remain composed, even if I realize this is easier said than done, than completed, particularly when you're feeling really emotional. But it's crucial to first. Being composed and in charge of your feelings demonstrates that you are emotionally stable, grounded and self-assured, qualities that others look for. Being emotionally stable and beautiful means that you don't lose your mind when things don't work out the way you expected them to. Require continual affirmation from others to maintain your sense of well-being. This type of assurance is what attracts people, particularly in uncertain times. Let's examine a typical circumstance when she is not responding to your texts for a day, 2 days, or more. You can want to text her several times to find out why she hasn't responded if you want to see if anything is amiss, responded or pressed for a response. But here's something crucial to understand. Silence is frequently an answer in. So, if she backs off, don't chase after her. Instead, pause and consider what she desires and allow her the space she requires. Many individuals distance themselves because they need time to reflect or work through their emotions. So give her the space. You give her time to think about you, miss you, and make her own decisions. Talking excessively at this time would just make her feel overburdened and push her away, concentrating even more on yourself as you give her space. Anchored by engaging in activities that provide you joy, such as your job, hobbies, socializing with friends, or focusing on your own development, which will demonstrate to her, and more significantly, showing yourself that being a whole person isn't all about how she responds. It is quite enticing to be an independent living your own life. If you continue to live your living a confident life, demonstrates that you don't require her to maintain your emotional stability. Instead, you can pursue your own approval. Become someone she can trust in times of difficulty. From a Stoic perspective, consider this. It's not what happens to you is important, but how you respond to it won't alter her decision to take a step back, but you have the ability to alter your answer. provides you strength, and demonstrates that you're not easily agitated by outside stimuli, occurrences, and maintains your dignity. Others will observe your mental stability, shows your inner strength, and remaining composed isn't only a strategy for waiting, it's also an indication of self-control, which is one of the most crucial Stoic traits that still exist. Being composed enables you to react purposefully, patiently, and wisely. Remembering ladies and maintaining composure sets the tone for future conversations. Prefer men who keep their cool and don't let outside influences, events like a quick visit, to interrupt them, while you consider how crucial it is to remain composed when a woman withdraws, and I advise you to. How do you often respond when you consider how you can apply these Stoic concepts to your personal relationships? When circumstances are unclear, and how developing emotional stability could difference, please read and comment below with your thoughts on this strategy. Have you ever discovered that your relationship improved when you remained composed and gave each other space? Let's discuss number 2. Her room once you've relaxed. Once you've relaxed, the next crucial. Respecting her personal space is crucial, and this is where many men make mistakes when attempting to correct it. Things too hastily, believing that if they simply discuss it or provide an explanation, everything will return to normal. But you should be aware that a woman's withdrawal doesn't always indicate. Sometimes doing nothing at all is the best thing you can do. Therefore, you need to do more. She most likely needs time and space to process her own issues, at least for the time being. Sentiments and ideas. If you attempt to resolve the issue too quickly, it may backfire and cause her to feel anxious or overburdened, which will only worsen the situation between you and her. Space respect demonstrates your emotional intelligence and maturity, and when you do, you're sending her a powerful message. I think you know what you need right now, and I won't interfere. This demonstrates your strength and being confident enough to take a step back without constantly needing support, demonstrates that you're not anxious for her attention or approval, which is a very appealing trait. Calmly removing oneself from someone attracts them, yet being desperate drives them away. Additionally, allowing the connection to flourish offers you both time to reflect about what transpired and what might have transpired. Discover what brought you two together in the first place. Let's consider a scenario in which you have been routinely spending time together, and everything appears to be going smoothly until all of a sudden she starts withdrawing. She either doesn't reply to your communications as fast, or refuses your. It's normal to feel bewildered or even nervous when you receive offers to hang out. Circumstances. Your gut may tell you to demand more time spent together in order to compel a discussion about the situation. Yet this is the very point at which many men. The best course of action is to back off and let her stumble rather than trying harder. Come to you on her own terms. This doesn't entail that you play mind games or ignore her entirely. It only means allowing her the time and space she needs to think about and digest whatever is happening. Internally, this could be challenging at first, particularly if you're anxious to find solutions or make corrections, but instead, pursuing her will just increase the tension and probably drive her farther away. People need room to consider things honestly, and by honoring her boundaries, you allow her to miss you and reconsider the. We are reminded to concentrate solely on our relationship without feeling constrained by Stoicism. On the things we can manage and to accept the things we can't in these types of. This idea is particularly crucial in circumstances where you can't alter her emotions. When choosing how to proceed, you can consider her pace or need for space. Instead of attempting to return to normal, try changing your response to what she does. Use this time to improve yourself and keep developing, engage in your interests, and preserve your sense of finding contentment outside of a relationship, not only helps you stay grounded, but additionally, it shows that your mental condition is independent of other people's approval or attention. Keep in mind, Marcus, the more we appreciate things that are beyond our control, the more potent Aurelius's words little power we have. If you put all of your effort into attempting to influence her behavior or emotions, you'll just feel more erratic and tense. But when you let go of the desire to manage the circumstance, Asians can recover your own peace of mind by giving her the space she requires without interfering. This emotional liberation is priceless for the relationship as well as for you. It allows her space to think and prevents you from getting caught up in the trap of overanalyzing or overreacting to the third. Now that you have given her time to consider the circumstances, it is time for her to introspectively participate in significant self-reflection. This time gives you a chance to think about the circumstances and your part in it, but it's important to refrain from overanalyzing or painting too quickly. Consequences. There are a number of reasons why a woman may withdraw, including: this might not have anything to do with you directly, or you might have missed small cues or changes in the dynamics that led to her. Instead of blaming her or yourself, retreat's objective is to comprehend the larger picture with honesty and clarity when self-reflection is used constructively. Acts as a powerful tool that allows you to view things impartially and free from emotional bias or tendencies throughout this period. Ask yourself some crucial questions. And has her energy altered in any way recently? Have there been any arguments or miscommunications that could have led to this? Could work-related stress, family issues, or personal issues be influencing how she is currently communicating with you? For instance, if you and your partner had a minor disagreement during your most recent date, it might not have seemed significant at the time, but it might have been perhaps a little remark or miscommunication that you dismissed, but now that she's retreating, you're beginning to question. If that moment meant more to her than you initially believed, think about how the debate. Did you actually listen to her worries, or did you brush them off without? Although they needed attention, it's crucial to keep in mind that self-reflection isn't about obsessing over every small detail or being extremely critical of oneself. Rather, it's about entering the circumstance with an open mind and a wish to comprehend the truth, regardless of how unsettling it may seem. According to the famous Stoic philosopher, according to Sina, the brave are free. Facing the truth requires a great deal of bravery. It is liberating to be honest and humble about yourself and your behavior. This type of self-reflection is beneficial because it relieves the tension and confusion that come with not knowing what went wrong. You get clarity, and clarity leads to emotional strength. You'll have a deeper comprehension of the circumstance and yourself following this procedure, even if you are unable to determine the cause. She's withdrawing. Perhaps this is more a result of her personal desire for space, problems than anything you accomplished, but there may be other ways you might better yourself. Instead, interpersonal Stoicism pushes us to be self-aware and introspective all the time, to discipline ourselves, but to become more resilient and intelligent. When you consider what occurred, you'll be able to learn how to deal with future encounters with a stronger heart and a clearer head. Circumstance with assurance because you understand yourself and have a broad perspective. You have the opportunity to express thanks for the relationship and the lessons it has taught you during this period of introspection. Every encounter, especially the difficult ones, teaches us something. Use this time to consider the potential causes of her distance as well as the importance of this moment for personal development. And when you can view things from this perspective, you'll see that even when they're vague, yet while you consider them, you're still picking up some helpful knowledge. I want you to consider how taking this time to reflect might help you develop personally and increase your emotional intelligence when self-reflection is a gift that enables you to see the broad picture and connect with yourself because you are open and honest with yourself. With your actual self, regardless of whether you can understand why she distanced you, or identify areas for improvement. This approach is essential for strengthening future connections. Please let me know how you feel about this. When you're with someone, reflect on yourself. Write a brief account of your encounter, or just type it here. Is one of the most important phases in personal development. Concentrate on creating yourself. One of the most empowering things you can do to feel better during a period of distance is to focus on yourself. This means using this instead of waiting for her to get in touch or wondering what she's thinking. When you take the time to genuinely invest in your own personal development, this approach accomplishes two. First and foremost, it helps you restore your self-assurance and sense of second. It demonstrates to her that you don't require her happiness. You're naturally appealing as a male, therefore use this to attract women who are trying to improve themselves. Chance to enhance your personal, emotional, and physical well-being, whether it's establishing a new exercise regimen, picking up a new skill, or simply investing more. Spending time with friends can not only increase your self-confidence, but additionally, let her know that your life is meaningful and complete, whether or not she is there. For instance, if you've always wanted to learn how to play the game, paint, or work out, guitar, now is the ideal moment to begin engaging in these hobbies. Not only fosters personal development, but also enriches life with interesting activities, making you more attracted to her. It sends a subliminal but powerful statement that you are confident in your ability to manage situations independently and that you are always improving. This reminds her of what she might be missing by not being manipulative or playing games, but rather by seeing you on, you shouldn't spend this time apart from your actual self-improvement quest by doing nothing, or instead of dwelling on things you cannot alter, use them to help you become the man you want to be. Marcus Aurelius once advised against wasting time debating what a "now is your time to be the kind of man that a good man should be." Philosophy is more than just talking about the type of man you wish to be. Man, the true triumph is found in your own development, so don't stress about what she's doing or when she will get in touch, but instead, consider what I can do. It will help me become a better person tomorrow by concentrating on your, no matter what, progress will help you restore control and confidence and build a life that is worth living. The fifth real win is express yourself firmly. Assertive communication. Speaking up without coming across as desperate will gradually lead you to want to get in touch with them. However, how you approach it is important. Many men make the error of contacting in a last-ditch effort to obtain quick reassurance by expressing emotion or requesting clarifications. Yet the reality is, desperation is not appealing, since it demonstrates that you lack emotional control, which is the last thing you want to desire to provide her. The important thing is to be calm and straightforward if you do want to contact her. You want to demonstrate to her that you're mentally stable no matter what, so be aggressive without coming across as needy. She claims that while you're willing to communicate to her, you're not obligated to do so, and that you, while desperation demonstrates insecurity, respect for her personal space and firmness, demonstrate confidence. For instance, rather of texting me repeatedly in a panic, asking why I haven't heard back or if I've angered you, assertive Xenia, you could say something like, "Hey, I noticed that you needed some space, but I wanted to respectfully let you know that I'm available any time you're ready to talk." This concise letter shows that you recognize her need for privacy. Additionally, you are showing maturity by asking to speak with her without putting unnecessary pressure on her by using these words. You enable her to take part when she's ready. Speaking also involves establishing good boundaries for yourself without feeling hurried or under pressure. When you demonstrate your ability to manage the situation as you wait for her response, you're living your life. Handling things coolly and composedly demonstrates your emotions. This approach not only strengthens your friendship, but also demonstrates maturity and respect. However, if she does decide to be Stoic epicus, it also increases the likelihood that you can have a constructive discourse. Reminds us that since we have 2 ears and 1 mouth, listening is more essential than speaking. When reaching out, it's crucial to say twice as much as we do. Make sure you prioritize listening over talking when you eventually get the chance to chat with her. This will demonstrate to her that you're truly interested in something and not just attempting to convince someone or win their approval. Recognizing her perspective. This is a method of communicating with others using a tone of respect, and maturity is established by using strong language rather than cries of desperation. This demonstrates to her that you're not depending on her to keep you emotionally stable, which fosters a closer bond because it demonstrates that you're anchored in the here and now and conscious of how she feels. Feasible for sincere, meaningful dialogue to take place, resulting in a more balanced and healthy partnership. You've come this far. Consider how you speak to others when things are difficult. Do you always remain composed and aggressive, or do you occasionally give in to desperation? Please leave a comment below with your ideas. It might help someone else going through the same thing. If you prefer to keep things simple, just type. I prefer assertiveness over desperate attempt to support the mentality you're developing. Take care of your expectations. Here's where things become difficult, so please look after your. When you contact her, you may have expectations that she will reply right away, perhaps even apologize, and everything will be well. Be all right once more, but the reality is that you can't predict her reaction. She might open up, or she may still require further room. In any case, you must be mentally and emotionally prepared for any eventuality. A crucial Stoic lesson is to acknowledge, when our emotions are running high, that things are not how we want them to be high. It's easy to get connected to a certain result. For instance, you might wish for a reunion or anticipate a positive response from her. But clinging to these, if things don't work out as expected, Stoicism might cause disappointment. Instructs us to focus on the thoughts we can control and to let go of the impulse to control the circumstances. Her behavior, whether she returns or continues to rob you of your peace of mind. You should always discover inner stability regardless of her reaction. Don't spend the entire day wondering what she does after you send that thoughtful message. Instead of doing things that keep you busy, try looking at your phone and waiting for her to respond. Anchored and self-centered, it's critical to be prepared for any reaction, whether favorable or unfavorable, or none at all. But if she responds and the discussion proceeds smoothly, that's fantastic. It's okay if she doesn't. The important thing is to remain composed in any situation. Marcus Aurelius claims that this is the moment when Stoic wisdom truly shines. Make decisions based on your thoughts rather than what occurs in the real world. Will feel more resilient once you realize that you can't alter her behavior or how she feels, but by focusing on your own feelings, you can alter how you respond. You regain your strength in your thoughts and feelings, but it doesn't come from her response or external approval, stems from her ability to maintain composure. Managing your expectations, even in the face of uncertainty or difficulty, entails finding calm in the process of letting go of the attempt to control the uncontrollable, instead of concentrating on the. As a result, you safeguard your mental well-being and present a composed. Having a self-assured and incredibly appealing presence is all you can manage, and in no matter what, stability will support you. Thus, it's crucial that you don't play games, but resist the urge to give in to the allure of gaming. Enticing, particularly when she withdraws to reveal her or arouse her jealousy. What she's missing: you might post anything on social media to give the impression that you're enjoying yourself without her, or even turn your back on her to see whether she will follow you, but these behavior stems from insecurity and seldom results in the desired outcome. Instead, when you play, they frequently backfire and worsen the situation between you. Games, you're behaving out of fear or frustration rather than from a position of strength or honesty. Playing with her emotions may seem like a good way to regain control, but in practice, it merely erodes your trust. She will see right through it, and rather than bringing you closer, it will most likely drive her further away. On the other hand, choosing to be honest and real lays the groundwork for actual attraction. You may be tempted to share trickery, but it is far less appealing than confidence and trust. A picture of yourself with another lady, or brag about how much fun you are having without her, but don't. Therefore, if you're enjoying yourself, just live your life as it is. Feel free to share that with your friends, but don't do it to enviously make her feel bad, or to get a response when your behavior stems from self-assurance rather than attempting to manipulate her. Because you're self-assured enough to steer clear of unnecessary drama, Marcus Aurelius claimed that anger causes significantly more harm than its temporary effects. Pleasure, thus it's worse to behave out of annoyance, envy, or vengeance. Compared to the fleeting enjoyment, playing games may provide you with a sense of relief or control in the short term, but over time it frequently results in remorse, miscommunications, and wounded sentiments on both sides. Therefore, the best way to move past the games is it's wiser to deal with it without compromising your integrity. In addition to keeping you emotionally stable, handling the situation with maturity and respect will also demonstrate. By showing her that you regard integrity and self-worth more than deceit and manipulation, you create a greater standard for the partnership and the treatment you anticipate receiving in exchange today that we've discussed the value of being genuine rather than pretending. Think about your experiences for a second. Have you ever been tempted to use comparable tactics throughout your time apart from your spouse? And if so, what impact did that have? Tell us what you think about the way you two engaged, and then write your story in the "Let's continue our conversation." The area beneath your viewpoint might be helpful to someone else experiencing the same problem. Provide her with a sense of security when she eventually yells, or making her feel emotionally secure is the most crucial thing you can do when you have the opportunity to speak with her. But it doesn't mean you should release her from all accountability or refrain from discussing significant matters with her, but you should make her feel comfortable enough to tell you straight out if she feels attacked or condemned. It will be difficult for the relationship to progress if she shuts down again. Thus, your objective is to make her feel appreciated, heard, and comprehended, even when the discussion becomes difficult. For instance, it's common for her to get in touch with you after a week of not speaking. Want to know immediately, such as why you ignored me or what's been on your mind. Show interest in her rather than making her feel constrained or on guard. With empathy throughout the conversation, inquire about her feelings throughout the time apart, and offer her space to express her ideas and feelings without interjecting or defensively responding, which demonstrates to her that you're emotionally mature, patient, and capable of handling everything she says, regardless of how easy it is to hear. When she feels secure enough to be vulnerable, avoid the temptation to criticize or pass judgment, and instead pay close. Pay attention to her words and the emotions that accompany them. Tell her that you appreciate her opinion, even if it differs from your own. If you can maintain this degree of emotional stability, it can have a significant impact. She feels safer around you when you are cool and collected, because it demonstrates that you are in control of your own emotions. Epictetus, a Stoic philosopher, asserted that no man is free unless he is in control of himself. You maintain inner calm by managing your emotions, and you also provide her with a secure space to express herself. By doing this, you provide her with emotional support and stability, and she will have more faith in you to handle difficult situations if you are more composed and truthful, especially during difficult conversations. Circumstances. She will feel more connected to you, since she knows she can always rely on you. It's easy to lose sight of the greater picture while number 9 is thinking about it. When feelings are running high, concentrate and consider the wider picture. Moments can be really intense, therefore you might want to act fast in these circumstances, or basing decisions on ephemeral feelings, but Stoicism encourages us to taking a step back and considering the wider view. Every relationship, like life itself, has its ups and downs. Whether it's a good or bad moment, her distance doesn't define the entire voyage. If everything is going well at the moment, it doesn't mean that the relationship is over. It's crucial to take a broad view of your connection in order to see its larger picture. Viewpoint. You can continue to be wise and clear instead of permitting even one moment of distance or dispute to impact you. This mindset also enables you to consider your partnerships for personal development are more than just being with someone. They also opportunities to develop and gain knowledge. This separation could be a small setback in a solid relationship, or it can indicate that some adjustments are necessary for the partnership to advance in a healthy manner. It's crucial to avoid overreacting when pressed for time. Making better decisions within this little period of time can be achieved by taking a step back and considering the wider picture. Just a phase that comes and goes, or does it point to deeper problems that need you allow yourself time to ponder by paying attention to the circumstance as a whole? Regarding it without becoming upset or anxious, Epictetus sagely expressed what counts right now is how you respond to what happens to you, whether it's every difficult moment in your relationship, whether it be a week of silence or a single argument, is just share your ideas about the relationship or your mental health as a small part of the larger story, as Stoic wisdom teaches. Should remain composed and not allow a brief incident to alter your overall. By keeping an eye on the wider picture, you also give yourself the opportunity to develop every relationship. How you respond to difficult and stressful situations depends on the future of your relationship. By taking a step back, considering the wider picture, and maintaining your emotional. By striking a balance, you may strengthen your bond and guide it in a direction that suits you. The long-term objective is to establish a solid, healthy connection for both of you, where the larger picture is not impeded by temporary issues. Journey number 10 prepares to be prepared to proceed, even while we inherently wish for the finest. It's crucial to be prepared for any possibility before proceeding in a connection. You must be prepared to move on with your life, with or without her, if she doesn't return. About losing hope. Rather, it's about cultivating a resilient and self-sufficient mind. By relinquishing your attachment to a certain outcome, you alleviate stress, and fear of possible outcomes no longer occupies you, and you no longer need that anxiety. Instead, you may proceed with assurance, knowing that you'll maintain, developing and thriving despite everything, and your relationship isn't a failure just because she chose to move on. Terminate for a variety of reasons, and occasionally it's because the connecting action wasn't appropriate for her. Understanding that this may be unpleasant, but it's important to keep in mind that it's a chance for you to discover new things, and every friendship, no matter how wonderful or horrible, offers us valuable lessons. Even while you should keep such lessons in mind, you must move on and not allow them hold you back. Alexander the Great, a Stoic philosopher, stated that the contentment of your ideas determine the course of your life. Thus, this insight is very helpful when, even though a relationship is confusing, there are still good things to consider. By the end of the chapter, you've gained wisdom and knowledge about yourself. Experience. Let your thoughts guide your decisions instead of clinging to the past. Present by concentrating on the development of hope for the future while being prepared to move on. Does not imply a lack of concern. Rather, it indicates that you value yourself enough to put your personal well-being first. When she returns, you'll be prepared to appreciate the relationship with new eyes. As Stoicism tells us, won't you be prepared to proceed on your path with courage and resolve? Although we cannot alter how others treat us, we can alter how we respond to them. Thus, whether a relationship lasts or not, you are always in control of your own course. As we wrap up our conversation on how to respond when a woman withdraws, it's important to keep learning and moving forward. It's important to keep in mind that our primary goal was to enhance your relationship with her as well as to re-establish. This approach not only helps you manage interpersonal interactions, but also fosters self-respect and emotional resilience. Also results in substantial personal development. We've discussed doable steps and powerful suggestions to keep you composed and sensible when dealing with relationship issues. Hence, the most important thing is to consider how you may modify your behavior, and in addition to attempting to alter the dynamics of your relationships by employing these tactics,